We're continuing today's workshop on supporting temporary distance learning with a discussion of how you can support interactive online sessions. I always find the term synchronous to be a little wonky, and I never know if that's just me or if other people feel that way. So that's why I call this section synchronous learning and then translate what that means, supporting live interactive online sessions. This section is really designed for people who are able to be a support person in these synchronous sessions. So you're not helping instructors. Rather, this isn't intended if you can only help instructors plan outside of sessions. This is good for you if you can attend sessions. If you can't attend sessions, then you can share these bullet points with instructors so that they know the types of things they should be aware of when they're running their own synchronous sessions. So first, you can prepare the online classroom. This is what I did today. I loaded slides. I tested whatever tools I was going to use, the chat window, hand raising, mic and webcam beforehand. And if this were a session where we were having small group discussion, I would test out or set up breakout rooms ahead of time. And when sessions begin, the support person can orient students to the online classroom, welcome them as they log in. You know, in an in-person class, you might have small talk as people filter into the classroom. You can do that online too. Also, to orient students, you can give a brief overview of tools when you first meet online. If you look at the introductions section of this recording, you'll see that I do that here as well. And then you can also provide technical instructions as needed throughout sessions. And I really recommend that for the first few times that you use a new tool, whether that's the first few times you encourage people to chat in the chat window, to raise their hand and use their microphone, to work in small group breakout groups, to work off of a collaborative document on Google Drive or, you know, off of your school's LMS. Just provide those instructions so that it's one less detail that students need to be thinking about and navigating. A support person can also manage technology throughout the session. You can record the session. That doesn't happen automatically. You actually have to tell the session to record. You can send people to breakouts as needed, activate tools as needed, whether that is starting a poll, screen sharing a document. You can help people with technical issues. And here I really recommend that any technical support that happens within a session is minimal and focused on just getting people able to hear, see, and communicate in some manner. It doesn't have to be in an explicit manner as designed by the instructor, just any manner is good. And in the next section of this workshop where I talk about what to do when technology breaks, I'll talk about some specific troubleshooting approaches to use to help people with technical issues. And then a last thing that you can do to manage technology throughout the session is mute microphones when there's feedback or background noise. And one key function of support people who are able to attend these sessions is sharing the cognitive load with instructors. We've talked in previous sections about how it's important to reduce the cognitive load for students, reduce the number of things they're expected to process at the same time. That is also true of instructors. So if you're a support person, you can monitor the chat window for questions. You can make sure your instructor sees raised hands, and you can also keep track of time. There are certainly other things you can do to assist in this, but those are a few specific ideas for ways that you can share that load with your instructors. And moving ahead, we're going to talk about what could go wrong If this were a live synchronous session, I would pause right now, invite a bit of discussion in the chat window about this prompt, and check to see if there are any questions before moving on.